I literally finished a video on Aaron a few hours ago. The audio was prepared, so I'm doing the video editing now. And this just dropped, and it's very, very curious on many levels. I think there are two speculative routes as to what Aaron Smith-Levin is up to. Now, if you're new, basically Aaron has been facing lots, and I mean lots of scandals lately, and we have him on tape throwing a woman into a wall. So obviously at this point he's a little bit on the defensive, and he's highlighting an old interview with Lister, another Scientologist who obviously left the cult and is making some confessions. But what does this all add up to? I'm not sure. But let's hear him, at least the early part of his confessions.
Or is in LA for 3 days. And we want you to come down and seduce Christy Colbrand and show her that you'd be a better option in a relationship than Mike Rinder. I said, what? What, Kathy? Was outside of a bar, just looking at the bar, like,
so this is Kathy. Kathy's like, I don't know, maybe a 60-year-old woman.
Like yeah, but looks like she's 90.
So she's asking
She looks
you
like a 90-year-old man with
to
gout.
fly down to Clearwater while Mike is out of town and basically get his wife to cheat on him.
For those even slightly confused, basically he's saying that the Scientology people tried to get him to seduce Mike Rinder's wife. And Mike Rinder is a whistleblower who left the church in the late 2000s. A lot of questions whether Mike is being totally truthful, but good or bad, he has publicized at least some abuses by the cult. The question with him is the consistency of looking at all abuses, but we'll put that aside for the moment. So this is when Aaron was friends with Rinder, so this obviously makes him actually look good that he was a victim of their dirty tricks and just how far they're willing to go. Just, hey, could you seduce a man's wife for us? Okay, that's pretty shocking. So where does this get back with Aaron? Well, it's funny, and this is where Aaron is in a bit of a hot spot. He did an interview with Andrew Gold, which was very controversial, a while back, and there he seemed to be saying something different.
And accused everyone in my community, or accused me to everyone in my community, of having actually abused her and beat her up severely. And she said, I would never go to the police. I would never, all I want is for Aaron to be removed from the Aftermath Foundation. Now, do I think this was a Scientology setup? No, I do not. I've been very consistent about that. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I think it's just a crazy person who behaved in a crazy.
Now, I'm going to use parts of that for this other video, so I don't want to use too much. But basically, Aaron is denying that OSA or the Scientology people set him up, that the romantic dilemma he faced with Juliana and all the troubles there, that happened basically automatic. It wasn't something that was, quote, intervened by outside forces. This is somebody he met. He decided to go out with him, and the relationship soured. Now, you can take Juliana's side or Aaron's side, but there's no evidence that OSA or the Scientology people set it up as a master grand conspiracy. It's just what Aaron decided to do, and the relationship fell apart. But here he seems to be hinting that no, OSA can set up these things. And so you think this is a romantic relationship that just happened, but really the OSA people are in control. Okay, that's one possibility. There's another speculative route that some people are taking, is that Aaron is trying to destroy this man's credibility. Why? Why would he be doing that? Well, it could be Lister either knew at the time something that would damage Aaron's credibility further, or he's learned something that could damage Aaron's credibility. And this has happened often in the last year, that people who were silent, like Ian, they got alarming messages either through email or text or other places that didn't fit Aaron's current story, so they're contradicting what he said. So it's really quite simple that certain people with a lot of credibility, like Ian, Juliana, you go through the list, Lindsay, who is an ex-girlfriend, a lot of people who do have credibility are speaking out, and he can't really destroy them frontally. But there may be more people who are going to join in and possibly damage more of his credibility, and there he's going to have to find some way to destroy their credibility. So it could be this kind of long-range plan. If Lister says anything about Aaron, well, we have to realize this is a guy who's willing to at least consider seducing a man's wife, so he may not have the best morals. It's all very tricky. At this point, we just don't know. I mean, what Aaron is ultimately up to, we just don't know. It just seems at this point he's on the defensive and just covering up a lot of things in his past because they're just not fitting the current narrative. So I'm not sure what to make of this. I'll have to do more digging, but I would assume it's either one or two of these options, that he's either trying to destroy this man's credibility and or he is suggesting that he was set up by OSA. Either way, he is not telling the truth and he's really being radically inconsistent with what he's been telling us.